Good afternoon. This is Dimitri Lascaris coming to you from Beirut, Lebanon on February 21st, 2025 for Reason to Resist. I arrived in Beirut this morning on a flight from Athens, Greece. This is my sixth trip to Lebanon in the past 2 years, 5 of those trips having occurred after Israel's genocide in Palestine began and combat broke out between Israel and the forces of the Islamic Resistance in Lebanon. My purposes in coming to Lebanon on this particular trip are twofold. First, in 2 days' time, on Sunday, February 23rd, the funeral of Syed Hassan Nasrallah will take place. Of course, Hassan Nasrallah was for well over 20 years the Secretary General of Hezbollah, and he was assassinated in a massive attack on a residential area of southern Beirut a couple of months ago by the Israeli Air Force. Whatever one may think of the individual Hassan Nasrallah or the movement that he led, I don't think it can be reasonably disputed that this was a person of considerable historical significance and one who enjoyed a very elevated stature, not only amongst many people here in the region of West Asia, but beyond the region as well. It'll be quite interesting to see what leaders from around the world attend the event and how the Lebanese people deal with the passing of Hassan Nasrallah. But there is another purpose in my coming here, as I mentioned, and that is I wanted to gain access to the south of the country and to investigate the extraordinary levels of destruction that Israel has inflicted upon communities, Lebanese communities, near the border with Palestine. We are also going to try to get close to the 5 hilltops that Israeli forces continue to occupy in Lebanon near the border, I believe, with Syria. And this is in flagrant violation of the ceasefire deal, which expired on January 27th, because under the terms of that deal, which is supposed to be guaranteed by the United States government and the French government, Israeli forces were to have withdrawn completely from Lebanese territory by January 27th. So a question looming over this weekend's events is what will the forces of the Islamic Resistance do and the new leadership of Hezbollah do after the funeral of Hassan Nasrallah with respect to the ongoing presence of Israeli forces on Lebanese territory. We'll try to get some insight into that while I'm here. Now today, promptly upon my arrival at the Rafik Hariri Airport in Beirut, I was greeted by Hadi Hoteit. As some of you may know from having watched my prior reporting from Lebanon, Hadi is a Lebanese journalist. He previously worked with Al Mayadeen. He is now a journalist with Press TV. And Hadi has guided me throughout many parts of the country as we've explored the effects of the war upon the Lebanese population during my recent trips. At my request today, Hadi took me, as soon as we left the airport, to the site of the killing of Hassan Nasrallah. On my prior visit, or my last visit, that site was inaccessible to the general public, but it has now been opened up to the public. And Hadi and I toured the devastation. And as we did so, he explained what happened on that day when Hassan Nasrallah was assassinated and the impacts that the attack has had on the local population. So here's what we saw this afternoon from the site of the killing of Hassan Nasrallah and what Hadi Hoteit had to say. So Hadi, thank you for guiding me here again. You've been a wonderful guide throughout my visits to Lebanon, and already we're
thank you.
Within minutes of my arrival at the airport. We've come to a very, very important site, the site of the killing of Hassan Nasrallah. And this is one of several areas that was struck that day. What was this before?
This is the entrance of the neighborhood that was struck by by the Israelis to kill Sayyid Hassan. Basically, this place was the place that received huge bombs that leveled all this building that was here to the ground. It was a huge building that you can already see how much the area that was leveled to the ground here. And as you can see, the bombs were not precise bombs as they usually say. So they were striking this building, but they destroyed the whole neighborhood. Mm-hmm. And this is what usually, when the Israelis say that it's precise bombing, they are referring to this. This is what Israeli precise bombing looks like. And usually it comes with the devastation of the whole neighborhood. Mm-hmm. And you can see an Iraqi flag down there, because many people from many places are coming to participate in the funeral. Mm-hmm. So this place was one of 5 locations that was struck by Israel that day here in the neighborhood. They were basically trying to destroy the entrance and the and also the exits of the facility that Sayyid Hassan was sheltering in. Mm-hmm. And we will go now to see the other places.
All right, let's head over there.
Yeah.
So Hadi, could you explain to us where we are? What's the significance of this site?
Right now we are standing in Har Tahrik, in one location that was struck by GBU, American-made bunker buster bombs on the day that Sayyid Hassan was struck back in last September. The place you see right now was, of course, a street that was penetrated by a dozen of GBU bombs, and this is where many craters, huge craters, deep. Some of these craters, I went down there the day of the strike. It was like 20 meters down the ground, and there was an opening of a tunnel, of course, down there. It was a small tunnel. It looks like it was, and the entrance of the facility where Sayyid Hassan was there, it was one entrance. So this is where one major strike happened, and as you can see, the neighborhood was heavily damaged by the strike. Now it's, of course, they are making sure to open the road again, so they are rebuilding the street, and they are doing this infrastructure work. This is all new. If you went here, if you was here like 1 or 2 months ago, all of this would be just a huge crater. Mm-hmm. This is one strike location. The other one actually is on the other place of the street down there. This is another strike location down there. You have also the other location that was struck, the one that we were in it right minutes ago. Mm-hmm. We'll go there.
So Hadi, you were explaining earlier that they actually struck 5 separate sites in this immediate area.
Yes. 5 locations.
So they didn't know where Nasrallah was, and they were, out of an abundance of caution, striking all the places he thought he might.
This is why they used 87 tons of explosives. So basically, you can't. It's the most expensive assassination in history, where you use 87 tons of TNT to kill one person, basically, because they were attacking Nasrallah, and the other commanders who died with Sayyid Hassan were not the main targets, of course. Mm-hmm. So this is the biggest assassination in history. You can say this, right?
Yes.
And the strike location was actually divided to at least 5 locations, and this is what it's not usually mentioned. This is the place where Sayyid Hassan was actually located, and you can count here like 1, 2, 3, 4 buildings were wiped out by the explosion, the attack, and they were leveled to the ground. And this here was a street, and from the other side of the street, this also happened. There is another strike down there, and the strike that we were in, and we'll film it later when we come back to it, the strike on the entrance of the neighborhood here, the one that you went and saw.
So this is where Nasrallah actually died, what we're
Yeah.
looking at now.
Yeah, this is where Sayyid Hassan was martyred, and it's good to mention that they didn't actually target the room that he was in, but the pressure and the gas from the explosion, the high pressure, caused him to immediately lose consciousness, and he was martyred, and he was found on the table. The guy who found him told me that he was taking a rest on the table, and he was doing like this on a table, and he was just with his full body, and he wasn't harmed by any direct fire or direct impact from the bomb, but the gas and the chemicals that, of course, that they were inside the tunnel when the explosion happened, caused him and the other commanders to die immediately. And this is where he was.
Now you indicated that there were 50 killed and wounded, which seems a remarkably low number for the destruction we're witnessing here. Why was the casualty count that low?
Well, I was told by Hezbollah officials that Hezbollah asked the people of this neighborhood to actually to evacuate the neighborhood when they started using this facility for commanding the. Of course, they didn't tell anyone why. They told them that this neighborhood is basically it can be targeted by the Israelis because they were targeting everywhere in Dahiya. But yeah, the whole neighborhood was actually evacuated, and this is why the casualty number was not as much as you can think that this kind of devastation will cause.
And who were some of the more notable commanders who died that day?
Some of them they were let's say the top 5 commanders in Hezbollah, basically, and the other ones were their companions. They have people with them and some experts with them. And the other ones were only civilians who were actually still living here, of course, and some places were still open, some shops and everything, they were still open, and the people, and you can actually see this on camera. There are some CCTV footage for the strike. You might include it in your video. I will send it to you, and you can see how the strike happened when people were just using this civilian place, because it's a residential area in Dahiya, and also your audience should know that until Sayyid Hassan was targeted, Dahiya was not inside the equation of war. It wasn't being targeted, but this is why some people are saying why Nasrallah wasn't hiding in some deep mountain inside South Lebanon or in Bekaa Valley, because until then Israel was not actually attacking Dahiya in a way that this is the first major strike in Dahiya, basically, and he was underground until back then. So Israel never attacked any underground facility in Dahiya until the day Sayyid Hassan was targeted with these bombs.
Do we know approximately how many aircraft participated in this? Is there any information about that,
You would expect that at least 20 to 30 aircrafts participated in this assassination, at least, because the amount of bombs that was carried needs about 20 F-16s at least, and you have other types of aircrafts that will be used for intelligence and for support and and everything. So you should expect that between 20 to 30 aircrafts participated in this attack at least.
And would you expect that some of those aircraft would not have been Israeli aircraft, perhaps American or British aircraft, or is the consensus that it was strictly the Israeli Air Force that conducted this
We
mission?
know that intelligence aircrafts by British and American army and NATO, basically, also they are still being used. You can always check for their signature on the applications that tells you which aircrafts are flying, and you can see them hovering above the Mediterranean in front of the coast of Lebanon and Palestine. And these kind of aircrafts usually they are electronic warfare and surveillance aircraft. They cover the range of many hundred miles. Some of them can reach up to 600 and 800 miles with their radars, and they can cover the whole area with their sophisticated equipment. So usually this kind of intelligence is provided by the US or by the UK, because the Israelis are not, they have those kinds of aircraft, but they are not, they don't have the ones that the US have, and which is a lot more developed and sophisticated. And usually they don't have to, because the US always provide them with the latest technology they have. But the aircraft, the power that did this basically murderous crime and against this residential area, and they killed Sayyid Hassan and Dahiya, and they started the war. They launched the war, and they launched this genocide by this attack.
Do we know
Israel can do this? Now the other one that I'm sure that it wasn't only the Israeli army who did the attack, was the strike on the day one of the war, which was actually more than 1,000. It was 1,300 strikes in 24 hours. There is no way that the Israeli airports or the Israeli aircraft can actually do this alone without the help of other airports and other armies and other air power. So you can expect that maybe the base in some Gulf regions, in Cyprus, in Jordan, in Turkey, participated in this attack and provided air power, provided aircrafts and other, and also like place for landing, because if you had dozens of aircrafts that are taking off from the airports in Palestine, in occupied Palestine, you won't have the ability to land the other aircrafts the same time if you are still all the time 24 hours sending aircrafts. So you have to land it elsewhere. This is why we have proof that many F-16s and F-15s landed in Cyprus, for example, the day of the strike one, the day one of the war, which basically it was like, I think it's October 1 and September 29, October 1, I think.
And
sorry. It was 23rd of October.
And at this point,
of September, I will return. It was 23rd of September.
Okay. And at this point, does the Islamic Resistance have any idea how they determined that Nasrallah was here, was in the vicinity? Was there an intelligence failure? What's the best information?
This is more through analysis. What I think is that it's a combination of the secret places of the resistance were exposed by intelligence, and there were real-time intelligence also that provided the information that this facility, that they know now that it's a secret facility that will be used in the war, that actually Sayyid Hassan was inside it. So they have basically, it was like a combination of intelligence that was gathered, and maybe it took many years to gather and to reach this level of security breach in Hezbollah. And also they provided real-time information that usually are provided by electronic warfare. So basically the aircrafts that were used by UK and the US, these kinds of aircrafts usually can scan, for example, all cell phones. They can hack all the cell phones at the same time. They can use them as use their cameras, their microphones, the voice signature, even real-time tracking with cameras. They can access the internet, and they have this enormous capabilities of basically being able to focus on one area and to scan everything to know what's happening. And of course, you can think that they have planted some spying devices somewhere that can also be useful at the same time, or they were simply tracking them by the spying drones that can also do the job if they were if they were using above the ground transportation.
Now, the funeral is taking place in 2 days' time.
Yes.
Based on prior experience, do you think the Israeli Air Force will make its presence felt during the funeral?
I'm sure that they will do this. But let's say that I also hope that they won't be doing any kind of I think that they aren't going to strike somewhere, but at least they are going to break the sound barrier in Beirut, and I'm pretty sure that they will do this. And but you know, if they targeted the funeral ceremony, it will be worse than just a war crime. They are used to do war crimes, but this will be even worse. It will be like, you know, they are stating that they are just killing people, and for no other reason, for no other purpose than just killing them. Because during the war, even if they were killing civilians, they always used to claim that, oh, these civilians were near some military facilities, and sometimes they didn't even bother to claim this, but they would usually say this. Now they have nothing to do. And the other thing is also that the audience is not only, you know, is not only Hezbollah militants, it's not only Shia, it's, as you already know, you are here. There are thousands of people who are from outside Lebanon, and
yes,
hundreds of people, at least, if not thousands, who are from Europe and from US and from Canada and from Africa, who came here to participate in this funeral. You have other people from other sects. So, for example, the two ladies who we were talking, and they asked me, like, where is Nasrallah's a place that was where he was targeted. The two ladies now, when we were talking, they are Christian ladies. She was putting a cross on her chest, if you saw her.
Yes.
And they came here to see the place where Nasrallah was martyred.
And
so it would be like, it would be, I can't just tell you like, no, yes, but I think that the Israelis will do something to terrorize the people, but at the same time, it's not rational, it's not logical that they will attack the funeral, for example, because it will be just a condemnation from international condemnation.
I would imagine that there are going to be leaders of other countries who will be present. Do we know who's going to come? Sort of high-level officials?
Until now, there was a statement like 2 hours ago from Hezbollah's media, and they said that for a purpose, they won't be stating who are the leaders who are going to participate in this funeral. Right. For one purpose,
right,
that they want to keep this classified. Maybe it's for security reasons and other things, but they don't want to mention who is going to participate, even from the Lebanese authorities. So they did not tell if the Lebanese president and the Lebanese prime minister and the other ones are going to, and the spokesman of the parliament, if they were going to be there actually or no. They did not confirm it. And they mentioned that they don't want to confirm it before the funeral.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Hadi. Always very, very informative. So that's my first report on this trip from Lebanon. I expect to be reporting on a daily basis. Tomorrow we will try to go to southern Lebanon and also to the areas that continue to be occupied by the Israeli military. And of course I'll be reporting from the funeral of Hassan Nasrallah on Sunday. And hopefully we'll be able to accomplish other important tasks while I'm here as well. If you found this video to be informative, please like the video. If you don't already subscribe to Reason to Resist, I hope you will do so. For now, this is Dimitri Lascaris signing off from Beirut, Lebanon on February 21st, 2025.